All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lara Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today, Dr. Lara May is back with us. And today we're talking about the physical, energetic, and spiritual gift of a holiday detox. And we're just talking about how it's almost Thanksgiving in the US. And so people are getting ready for, decorating their houses and getting ready for Thanksgiving. And so it's interesting that we're talking about a holiday detox during this conversation. So some of what we're going to talk about today is going to be about like why detox before or during the holidays. Why not just wait until the new year? How sugar, carbs, and stress weaken your immune system. Absolutely. How are detoxes spiritual? What is the light body detox framework and how is it different? We're going to experience a live guided energy detox. And for those of you who don't know Dr. Lara May, she's been with us before many times, and she is a functional medicine clinical specialist. She's a master intuitive healer and channel and international teacher and speaker on a mission to empower you to take an active role in your healing journey to achieve holistic health mastery of the mind, body, and spirit. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Lara May back to the show. Dr. Lara, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I'm so excited to talk about this today. I know it's probably not the most popular topic on the planet, but I think it has a lot to offer all of us. So
Absolutely. I always learn so much when you come on the show and you're talking about detoxes or just anything to do with the physical body and nurturing it, etc. I always learn so much. So we are going to be taking live caller questions. So you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat if you are here in the Zoom with us right now. So I just want to get started. So pie does it for you, Randy. Yes. And I know at this time, people eat, people eat a lot of pumpkin pie, right? It's, for us in Canada, Thanksgiving was back in October, right? And so in October, the pumpkin pie season starts, right? And it goes for a little while, then it takes a little break, and then Christmas time, pumpkin pie comes back, right? So pumpkin pie is a big thing, but all pies, I totally agree. Apple pie, I'm a big fan. And pecan pie, I'm a big fan. But of course, I have a sweet tooth. I really do. So I know how you said, we're talking about in the intro, how sugar, carbs, and stress can weaken your immune system. And so like I said, I have a sugar tooth. And so I'm trying to cut back. I'll be honest, I'm doing better. When I was in Canada just now, I ate a lot of sweets, all the ones that my mom made, because she made them for me. But then I said, when I go back home, that's it, no more. So I've been pretty good, pretty good.
yeah, and that's one of my big messages and tenets anyway. It's just to always be gentle with ourselves. This life is not about deprivation or about being hard and so strict on ourselves. So definitely enjoy the time of the holidays. But the reason that I wanted to talk about a detox through the holidays, and right now in the US, we're just before Thanksgiving, and then we have a month before Christmas. And so my thought process through this was like, well, that's a perfect time to actually squeeze in a little 2-week detox. And the way I like to set them up is you give yourself a week of prep time. And so you give yourself that time to start weaning down the sugar, weaning down the caffeine, weaning down the alcohol. Start to maybe also think about what your sleep cycle has been like and try to, have a more consistency with that. And so then when you start the quote detox protocol, then your body is already a little prepared and it's not so rough. And so that's also sort of this concept of doing a holiday detox, so that when you get to the new year, it's not such a shock to the system and it's actually easier for you to move in. Even if you want to do another one in January after the holidays, you totally can. And it's actually, you'll probably be a little easier for you. So that's just a little bit of the foundation of where this is coming from.
Awesome. Hopefully I'm not muted. And so, I agree, but about the moderation, absolutely. And there is, there's times when it is better for our body to do the detox. So like between Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, and Christmas is a great time because we know that during Thanksgiving, we're all going to eat a lot of stuff. There's no question, right? We go to the family and we eat a lot of stuff. And then at Christmas, again, the same sort of thing. So in between that, we can start to do that detox. And we're detoxing basically from what we did on Thanksgiving, and then just cleansing our body and our system so that we are better prepared for as we move forward into Christmas and New Year's, and then we can detox again. But like even with the detoxing, it's not just about the food. It's not just about any of that. It's also energetically detoxing, and we store a lot of chemicals and yucky stuff in our body, right? So we want to detox some of that too, so that we can be stronger to handle all of the stress. Because I mean, I remember in the past with Christmas, it was always a very stressful time. All the shopping, all the, I'm not going to say baking, but all the wrapping all the presents, like all of that stuff, right? It was a lot on our plates. And so I think if we do the detox before that, then we are better equipped to handle all that. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think it starts, like we said, in the Western world around these holidays, of all these expectations that we put on ourselves, that the expectations of the society has of just the season in general. And it's totally fine to eat whatever you want during the holiday. But in order for us to maintain our healthy life, or even maybe to start a new leaf of getting healthy, being healthy, trying to create health and wellness in our life, we really need to start being mindful. And you're right, it's absolutely not only about the food. Food is a big part of it, but there's also, what are we thinking? What are all those emotions? Because the holidays, we're around family, and that can bring up a lot from the past, even, or just even if we're not around family, just the holiday itself can sometimes be triggering for people. And so it's actually a really good time to become aware of those thoughts, of those emotions, and give yourself that gentle space to feel them, to process them, to forgive yourself, and then also express gratitude for yourself, for showing up for yourself. Detoxing and cleansing is really an act of self-love for our bodies, our souls, and our minds. And when we allow ourselves that space to just say, oh, thank you, thank you, soul, thank you, spirit, thank you, body container, for taking me through this life. And, even if it's not what we want it to look like, or the size or the shape or any of those things, it's what we have now. And, in order for us to create all those things that we want, we have to be appreciative of where we are now, so that we can bring in that awareness and make those choices to change if we want.
Totally. And, and that's the thing, we forget about ourselves, right? Nurturing ourselves, caring for ourselves when we are going through this holiday season, and everything that we're experiencing. We forget how important we are in the whole process, right? We're doing for everybody else. We're giving and caring, and all that is great, but we can't forget about ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And, again, it's just one of the best things you can do for yourself. Even, you can pick one thing out of a detox too. You don't have to do the full thing. Like, whatever you choose to do for yourself, just know that that is adding to your foundation. And so that when you come back to a practice like this later, you're already stronger because of the choices you made previously, if that was the path that you chose.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, sometimes I find for myself specifically, and I think, other people can also relate, I don't really know how to detox. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I don't know, I mean, sure, I can, Google it and stuff, but even still, it's like, how do I know I'm doing it the right way? And what is the right way? And for my body specifically, how do I know what the right thing to do is? I mean, like, I tried doing the celery juice every morning kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was okay, but the celery here in Austria, it was crap. It was like the worst thing. It's like, I don't even want to, it was awful. So like, I can't do it. but it was a lot of work, right? And it was very messy and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I don't like that, so, um, it didn't last for me because it's like, wasn't sure exactly what I mean, I've searched, I mean, I know what the benefits were, but it just didn't work for me and my body.
Right. It just didn't resonate. And that's, I totally get that too. I also myself have tried to be consistent and diligent with that celery juice in the morning. And I will be quite honest, I don't even like celery. So in order,
I
like,
don't
just,
either. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm going to try this. I can convince myself to like it. And yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. But what I will say is that when a lot of this is about planning and creating a sacred container for ourselves. And so I think if we bring the sacred into the concept of detox, then it'll resonate differently. And the big question is why are you doing this for yourself? I mean, I can tell you the reasons, that it's good for the physical body, and that it's good for the the soul and the mind, and or maybe weight loss, and all the different things, your immune system. But at the same time, it's your personal why that's important, why you've decided to say yes to move through this practice. And so that's one of and then you said there's a lot to do too, which can be true. And so that's another thing for that prep week before the actual is getting, looking at your list. Okay, well, what are you going to eat? How can you prepare ahead of time for it? Gather all your ingredients. Maybe I like to set aside one day of the week where I can prep as much as possible for the week ahead, because, I'm just like the rest of you out there. I have a job, it's busy. You get up, you get ready, go to work, and repeat for however many days in a row that you do that. So
yeah. And first thing in the morning, it can be very hectic, especially if you have kids and spouses, like all that stuff. It's already a very hectic time.
Yes. So making that special sacred container for yourself and saying, okay, if I'm going to make this successful, then I need to be prepared and also figure out how it's going to fit in my life. You could do it as, if you're able to take time off, which, I mean, if any of us have that luxury, hallelujah, to take time off and do it in a sort of more isolated container where you're just at home. And that would be, beautiful and ideal to really remove a lot of that stress from our daily lives too. And maybe whatever we're being exposed to throughout our days. And we haven't really talked about this yet, but one of the reasons that we should seasonally detox is because of all the things that we're exposed to on a daily basis. Even if we're living and eating the cleanest life possible, it's just unfortunately a fact of our modern world that we are bombarded by things that are really just aren't good for us. But if we help our body release them, then we can again create that foundation of less inflammation, less stress, a more sustainable foundation that'll take us into later life healthier too. So I would say my number one advice to those that are going to plan to do a holiday detox is to really give yourself that dedicated time and space and decide, okay, when am I starting? When am I finishing? What days am I working? And on those days, what's the food going to look like, or the juice, or whatever you're going to do, and prepare for that. So when you wake up in the morning, maybe you only have to prepare a few things, or maybe you did it the night before or a few days before and it's refrigerated, and you can just grab your beautiful glass containers with all your amazing things in there and take it with you and, be on your way. So those are definitely things, to think about.
And prepping ahead of time, prepping on the Sunday for the full week. That's awesome. I think most of us can do that, right? And again, it is about honoring our body and honoring where we are in the season, even right now, and knowing that, it's like, I used to be stressed out during Christmas, but it's like knowing that stress is coming up. What can I do now to build that resilience, clear my system of all the extra stuff that doesn't belong, and then at the same time feel good, feel good in the body, and feel like more energized, so that I can handle what's coming up next, right? And I think that's the biggest thing, is like, how can we, like, what can we do for ourselves to be stronger in the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, so that we can have more joy during the holiday season, because it's supposed to be a joyful season,
Right.
right?
So, and that's one of the things, especially, so the one that's coming up is the winter detox. And winter is a time for rebuilding. If you think about, animal cycles, a lot of animals hibernate in the winter. And why do they do that? So we are animals also, and we're moving through this world and this planet with the seasons. And so it actually creates more ease and flow if we're able to honor that part and honor that season. So we're rebuilding, we're repairing. And when we decide to do a cleanse or a detox, we're also allowing our body to rebuild and repair and rest and, be more conscious and aware. And one of the aspects of my detoxes is the mindset part. And so I encourage, all the clients that I work with to get a journal if you don't have one already, and, just have a morning gratitude practice, because that's a great way to, even if you're not detoxing, it's a great way to like set yourself up for, a beautiful, positive, appreciative mindset. And so that when things maybe go a little wonky later in the day, you're already vibing up here. And so if your vibration drops a little, then it won't necessarily, hopefully, plummet. Yeah. Versus if we wake up on the quote wrong side of the bed, and then things just continue to be rough. We've all had those days too. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And so so the spiritual detox, right? Normally when we're thinking about detox, we're thinking about the physical, right? We're not thinking about the spiritual part of it at all. So how are detoxes spiritual other than the mindset piece?
I think they're spiritual because, like I said before, they're an act of self-love. And for us to really, we're energetic beings in a physical body. We are part of the divine. We are divine beings. And when we, I think, commit to doing something for ourselves like this, we are, like you said, honoring ourselves, our souls, our body. And that's very spiritual. And so also, in addition to, so I like to combine and make things efficient. So what I do when I'm moving through one of these is I actually have like a morning gratitude meditation. So instead of writing all the things, I will get into a space of calm, quiet, bring in that energy of love, of happiness, of gratitude in my heart space. And so I'm like resonating in that awesome vibration. And then I sort of go through my list of all the things I'm grateful for. And it's sort of like, I find that if all of us out there have watched Abraham Hicks in the past or listened to her, and, she goes on her rampages. So that sort of, to me, is like I get into this rampage of gratitude, and it just, again, it raises your vibration. And when we're vibing higher, we know what, again, the law of attraction, like attracts like, sorry. Yeah. And so we will attract more of those good things, whatever it is that we're trying to bring in, that health, the wealth, the prosperity, the abundance, the job, the relationship, the career, whatever it is, that is more likely to come to us in a way that is better than we can ever imagine when we've raised our vibration. And we have to do that with intention, because, again, we're human. And so if we just let ourselves bonk around the world and the planet, then there's going to be times where we feel good and feel bad. But in general, we're not going to really manifest or create anything with intention. So I think that's really where the spiritual piece comes in, is sort of bringing in all the little things that we sort of know about, but with intention, putting them into practice.
Yeah, I love that. And so, I'm sure, I know people have questions about the detox part of it. Like what can I include? What should I not include? Is detoxing basically, it's not about starving myself, right? So,
Absolutely not.
just generally, like, what would you recommend for people generally to, as a way of detoxing?
So my approach is gentle, and you can, I'm a meat eater myself, but I know a lot of people are out there are not. And even if they are, there's a large swath of this planet that doesn't have access to what I consider clean meat sources. So the first thing for food could be to eliminate meats, but you don't have to, but go as clean as possible with all the food. So whole, fresh vegetables, ideally as many green vegetables as possible. Within the winter detox period, we're also going to actually have root vegetables, so beets and radishes and those types of things too, because we're also, and you talked earlier about having a sweet tooth, and this is something that's really important when we are constantly eating sweets, that overactivates that part of our palate. And so one of the things, especially about a winter detox, is that those bitter and astringent foods are actually the ones that are in season. And when we go through this process, by eating those foods, it reawakens that part of our palate. And when we awaken all the different taste parts of our palate, then we're less likely to want so much sweets, because once we've desensitized the sweet, then it's like overpowering. And so, and if any of you out there have gone through even, like a sugar detox itself, you'll notice that your palate changes, and that's a really good thing, because it actually helps you sustain not going back to the sugar later. So we definitely want to avoid anything that's processed. So no processed anything, no artificial flavors or sugars. So, and I mean, you would think that goes hand in hand with no processed anything, but it's harder and harder to find things that haven't been processed. So reading labels is really important, or being clear about, okay, I'm going to have this nut milk. I'm going to read the label, whether it's, coconut, cashew, almond, oat, any of those things. Being clear, okay, what preservatives are in it, or hopefully you can find one that doesn't have any preservatives. So a lot of this is about, we're helping our body remove the chemicals that have been stored in our fat, in our bodies, in our liver, in all the different places in our GI tract. If we're not having regular bowel movements, there's an amazing amount of toxins that can just live in our gut, unfortunately. So this is about having regular movements and just really getting things moving through. So beyond food, there is a practice called skin brushing, and you can get a bristle brush, or they make bristle brushes in different levels of stiffness. But you want to just brush the body from the extremity to the heart, and just doing that simple motion awakens your lymphatic system, which is one of the main symptoms that removes toxins from all of your cells. Mm-hmm. And so again, that's part of like getting things moving. And then we want to make sure that we're getting a good sweat on, because our largest organ of our body is our skin. And so it's also our largest detox organ, because when we sweat, it comes out of the pores. And so whether that's, making a beautiful salt bath for yourself with some essential oils and having that quiet time, that's beautiful, and it gets a great sweat on, or maybe it's sitting in a sauna, or maybe it's just going for a brisk walk, enough to break a sweat. So that's what we want. And if we could do that every day, that would be fantastic. You don't have to do the same thing every day. You can mix it up. So maybe one night you have the warm bath, maybe the next night you go for the walk. And maybe, you know, another night in the week, like if you don't have a sauna near you, you can make an appointment to go have some sauna time. And dry or steam is fine. It doesn't matter which. The most important thing is that you're sweating. So what else? Ooh, another thing actually is oil pulling and tongue scraping. And so again, our oral cavity is one of the first lines of defense in our immune system. But so it's important that we keep it clean. And so swishing with the oil really helps balance those the microbiome of our mouth. And it helps the good bacteria, you know, stay in balance with the not so good. And which also, again, will decrease your chances of cavities and all those things. But then when we tongue scrape and use a metal tongue scraper, not plastic, you're actually helping your body again. And this is an Ayurvedic practice. So there's different areas of the tongue that are affiliated with different organs and areas of our body. And when we scrape and that tongue in the morning, it is taking everything that your body was releasing. So your body also releases things through the tongue, and you see that in the morning when you wake up. So just scraping that in the morning after you brush your teeth. It's a really good way to help your body get rid of excess things that is already trying to shed. So let's see. I can keep going.
Awesome. That was great. No, that was really helpful. That's really helpful for people to know. I just want to tell everybody with the oil pulling, if you're using coconut oil, for example, don't spit it out in the sink, spit it out in the garbage. Otherwise it could clog up your what's it called?
Your pipes, yes.
Your pipes.
Yes.
I was gonna say pores, like not pores, pipes. Yes, it could clog up your pipes. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I love this type of information. I love this type of wisdom so that we can start to use it and implement it right away in our lives, you know. And every little bit is going to help us to be healthier, to be, you know, stronger, to, you know, clear and cleanse our body, which is going to help us at the emotional level too, and the mental level and spiritual level as well, right? Our body is our vehicle in this lifetime, you know, for our soul to experience life. And so the more that we can do and take care of the body, the better experience that we will have with the body here and now. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. And just again, coming back to that space of appreciation for this body, I think I know I caught myself and did a big like mind evaluation of myself and how I talked to my body at one point, where I was at a space where I wanted to, you know, shed a few pounds, and I caught myself in the act of saying like mean things. And for the longest time, I was completely unaware. I'm like, wow, well, no wonder, like if my body is not feeling loved and feeling accepted, then it's going to make it that much harder for it to, you know, reshape itself, rebalance itself, to release what no longer serves me. So excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to understand that our body is here with us, supporting us, you know, the best that it can, but we also need to support it, right? We also need to support the body. So I want to talk a little bit about the light body detox framework and how that's different. So I know you already talked a little bit about detoxing, but is there anything else about the light body detox framework that we haven't touched on yet?
So we talked about how food is medicine. That's the first part of the framework. The second part is thought work, and we talked a little bit about that, and that's a process. That's a whole lifelong process, really. But I think again, if we come back to our why when we're doing this, and we can get specific so that it becomes less overwhelming, and all of these, you know, there's so many different aspects that it can be overwhelming, and that's why it's helpful to go through it with a group, with a coach, you know, so you're not sort of, you know, like feeling your way blind down the hallway all alone. And so when at the beginning, when you get clear on your why, then we can be clear about the thought work that we're going to do throughout. So it's going to be specific to the same intention. And so that's another aspect. And then movement, we talked about it a little bit. I talked about the brisk walk, but really gentle movement every day is really important. Even if it's just a nice little yin yoga stretching practice before bed, or maybe even a yin yoga first thing in the morning to, awaken those muscles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, oh, I didn't get my walk today, so it's like, oh, maybe I'll do some yoga before I go to bed, just a little bit, just to have that little
Yeah.
bit of exercise and movement, because I didn't get a chance. It was a busy day. It was a busy
Yeah,
day.
I mean, because it feels so good. I think that we forget like how good, especially yin yoga feels. And that's again, so this is a practice of loving our body and doing things that feel good. And I think that's a message that really gets lost a lot when we talk about detoxes or cleanses. There's this very Western, structure and, sort of militant way that it has been approached in the past. And really, it's about bringing in gentleness, bringing in self-love. And the last part of the framework before I go off on this other tangent is breath work. And the reason is because so much of our body and our detox mechanisms also comes through our breath. And most of us don't breathe correctly anyway. And so if we can just a lot of times little periods like this are the open door to a whole new way of living, really. I mean, and I can say this personally, I did a panchakarma cleanse back in September, and I went to a retreat center for a week, and I went through the whole protocol. But so many of those things that I did just for that week, I've carried through, and I'm still doing them. Two of those things are, or three of them are the oil pulling, tongue scraping, and skin brushing. And those three, because those are great daily practices, again, just for maintenance and to keep things moving. So there's some things that you'll start during this period, and then some of those things you will continue because you like them, they feel good, and it's easy to just, keep them in your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, incorporating things that are easy, you'll tend to do that more often than the heavy duty hard stuff is like, oh, I'm not too sure. So I just wanted to ask everybody here, who of you have done a detox before and who has not done a detox before? If you want to just type in the chat, just let us know if you've done a detox before or if you haven't done a detox before. Now, I'll be honest, I have not done a detox before. I'll be honest, I have not. I've thought about it many times, but I've not done it, And then if you haven't done one, why not? For me, I'll be honest, it was because like, oh, it seems so difficult. It's like, I don't know, it just seems so difficult. I don't know. It's like, I think I just didn't understand what it was exactly and how to do it. And it just seemed like so complicated. And it's like, why can't I just fast? So what's the difference between, detoxing and fasting? So fasting I can do no problem. That's not hard for me. So what's the difference between that and detoxing? The only thing I can think of is with detoxing, you're still getting some nutrients, and with fasting, you're basically not, right?
Yes, and there's different types of fasting out there too, like, but the traditional sort of orthodox way to fast would be water only for a certain amount of time, right? So yes, but no, in a detox, we are specifically eating to cleanse and alkaline the blood, our system, cleansing the kidneys, cleansing the liver, really getting all of those fluids that run through our body every day as clean as possible. And so we're eating foods that will specifically help support the liver, the kidneys, our circulatory system, our lymphatic system, by rebalancing our body's pH. And again, not to get too sciencey, but a lot of us, when we live in these Western world, we get too acidic. And when our body is too acidic, then it is more prone to disease and inflammation. So this is a great way to rebalance and sort of to help your body get back into balance.
I love that.
So that's also why, some people that choose to can eat an alkalizing diet every day year round. And so, that's kind of what we're doing in a shorter period. And, this is my version of a detox. So that's the difference. And if you want to continue, if you're an intermittent faster and you want to continue to do that through the detox, you totally can. My plan provides you 3 meals a day and snacks if you need them, depending on where you are with, your blood sugar regulation and that sort of thing, because I don't want it to be a shock to the system. I don't want you to have, some of the quote die-off symptoms that people experience when they go from one extreme way of living to another, extreme. If we go from unhealthy to extremely healthy, our body can actually, like, you'll feel it because you'll have headaches. You might start sweating because, things are just, moving on their own. And so we can make it a gentle process that doesn't have to be. So
I agree with the gentle process. I think it's important, for us to move, not to do the whole cold turkey thing, because it's like, it is a shock to the system. It's a shock to the body. And we want to be gentle and caring and supportive and nurturing to our body, because it takes the brunt of so much that we do in our lives. Right. And so I think, gradually, we can move into a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle. It doesn't have to be, all cold turkey. My husband tends to do the whole cold turkey route, and I was like, I'm not doing it. It's like, I'm gonna do it like this, this way and that way, and we'll figure it out. But he likes to just cold turkey. He's like, that's it, no more of this and no more of that. And it's like, you know what? I don't know. But that
we're all
for me, right? So we're it's like, it's also about us, what works for you, right?
right.
Honoring that.
Yeah. And I will say too, you mentioned just again a little with the sugar at the beginning, and going through a detox like this, because there is still fruit in the protocol, in the dietary aspect of it. And so again, we're stimulating those different areas of the tongue, those different palate areas, those different tastes and we're, sort of, I'll say the word down regulating that sweet part, but you're still having sugar in the form of some fruit, but it's so it's like low glycemic. And so if you can start yourself off by doing this and doing it for the 2 weeks, then when you're quote unquote done, then it's actually easier for your body to, again, not go back to the super sweet, the artificially sweet items. And so it really is a good way to pre-pave and prepare yourself for moving forward into something that can sometimes be even more daunting, like a sugar detox or a sugar cleanse, or I don't know how else you want to phrase it, but like
if I were to give up sugar, I think I would have headaches every day, which would for a few days, and I'd be cranky and my whole body would ache. I know that's what would happen, because like every time, or in the past when I have like gone off of tea, for example, it's like, okay, I'm not drinking any more tea. It's really the sugar in the tea that was the culprit. It wasn't actually the tea, it was the sugar in the tea. And so I know that's hard for me, because I do like my tea first thing in the morning, and then at 4 o'clock, I'm Indian. I like my tea twice in a day,
Yeah. And okay, you can still have those things.
No, because people say, well, just have tea, but no honey, no sugar, no nothing. It's like, forget it. It's like, it's not even worth it. Then it's like, forget it, So, people say that, even like if you're doing intermittent fasting or whatever, they say, no, on those days, you don't have your tea, you don't put milk in it, you don't put sugar in it. So, well, then, forget it. I'll have water. Thank you.
I would agree. Yeah, for intermittent fasting, yes, you don't want any, because within their milk there is sugar, and so because lactose is the milk sugar. And one of the whole reasons we intermittent fast is to keep our blood sugar lower, right? And so so it's interesting because if you follow like the bulletproof theory of intermittent fasting, then that's where you can have like the fat sources in the morning. And so like you're not eating food. So again, it's just how orthodox are you going to be with your fasting? So I found that when I was doing the intermittent fasting on a more regular basis, I like to have bone broth in the morning, which with some either coconut oil or ghee. But then I would work out also. So I was using that to sort of, pre-pave my workout and then still not having food until lunchtime. So there are ways, but again, a true fast is water and that's it.
Yeah. I know. So, I can do that for one day. It's like more than
it's all about the pre-paving. So if it's funny how our human minds work. When we make a decision that we're going to do something and we prepare for it, then we're much more likely to follow it through to be successful. And so if you give yourself that week of prep before the detox, and then you can say, okay, well, I'm only going to have the tea, or maybe I'll have decaf tea, and no. Well, you can also try, I'm
all about the taste. So it's about the taste. If it doesn't taste like my regular tea, forget it. I'll have water. I'm so picky with that.
Fruit or stevia?
I thought stevia was not good.
Well, it's hard to find a good one, but if you can find a good one, like the real plant product that's naturally sweet is okay. And it's a calorie-free sweetener, and it's considered a natural sweetener because it is from a plant. It is very hard to find a good product. I will agree with that. I even get frustrated when I think I've found one, like I shop on Amazon just out of convenience. And so I'll buy one brand thinking it's fine, and you can't really see the label online. And then it gets to the house and I'm like, damn it, I can't use this, exactly. So I end up giving it away, or if they'll let me, I'll return it, So
yeah. So you see my dilemma.
I feel your pain. Yes. And some people just don't like stevia in general, and that's fine too. And that's why, monk fruit is another plant-based sweetener.
I did switch from sugar to honey a long time ago. So that was I thought that was good of me.
That's really good.
That. But then, they say, well, honey is still sugar. It's like, oh, okay, well, then what? So.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So honey is sugar, but honey is also full of things that are really good for your immune system and can be really good for allergies if you're an allergy sufferer. So if you're just having honey in your tea and that's all you're having every day in terms of sugar, then that's fine. I would say, unless I would be shocked to find a diabetic out there that was their, the thing. So
you're saying me having caramel popcorn is not a good thing?
That could probably, spike that blood sugar a little bit.
I know. Or Coke, that's not a good thing either. So yeah. Okay. Well, once this one bag of caramel popcorn is finished, I'm not buying anymore.
That's it.
So
that's good.
Yeah. I've said it live on camera. Once this bag of caramel popcorn is done, I'm not buying anymore. So there you go. But, so
it's
bad.
Important to when we think about these things to put it into context. So if you're a person that wakes up and you immediately run to Starbucks and you have a huge frappuccino in the morning, and then maybe you need your afternoon latte with all the whipped cream and the syrups and the whatever after, and then you're also snacking on, I don't know, the kettle corn throughout the day, because I have coworkers that love that kettle corn too. And then at home after dinner, you have a nice rich dessert. Now that's a lot of sugar throughout the day.
I don't have that much. I'll be honest.
I'm just using this as an extreme example.
Yeah.
So it's important just, again, keep things in perspective and just, approach yourself where you are. Even if you're that person that I just described, just start to think about, okay, where's one way, where's one place, one time of my day that I could maybe eliminate one of these things, knowing that I have excess in this area of my life, and just start, eliminating one at a time. I mean, that's when I first started my healing journey, like, I don't know, way back in the day, in 2012, 13, 14, something like that. I started with gluten because I knew I had IBS. I had been ignoring for many, many years. But it finally got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So the whole gluten-free was still considered a fad back then. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try this and just see if I feel better. And lo and behold, not even like 2 weeks, not even a full month, I was feeling better. So I'm like, okay. And I was doing some other reading and research. My next thing was dairy that I eliminated for myself. And that was a game changer for me. There was so much about my health that shifted when I gave up the dairy. So much so that I don't miss it. Like every now and then I miss cheese, but that's the only thing, especially now because we have so many good nut products as substitutes. So now in my coffee, I like coconut milk. That's my thing. Anyway, and so then beyond that, I went through a period where I tried to, because I wasn't sure if I had a candida issue or not. And so I thought, well, and I read the book, one of the books out there, and it's, eliminate sugar. So I eliminated all sugar, which is a little extreme, but in order to, attack the candida, you have to eliminate all sugar. So that's an extreme position that I would not recommend for most people, unless you know that that's what you're working towards, is that candida elimination. But for a lot of people, having those low glycemic fruits is still fine. That's sugar, but it's what we consider the healthy sugar. Honey is technically considered a healthy sugar because it's a natural product from our wonderful bees that we really need more of across the planet. So
the one I have is wildflower honey, so it's like, I like it. Anyways, that's what I have. Not the Billy Bee that you get in the grocery stores in Canada. It's like, that is disgusting. I gotta tell you. It's like, oh my God.
Honey can also be a seasonal product depending on where you live in the world. But if you know of a farmer or someone that produces it locally, that is the best way. So wherever you are, buy your honey from a local producer, because it has all those good things that came from the environment that you live in that will help your body live in a more cohesive state with that. So
absolutely, I love that. Thank you. And and that's the thing. It's like, how many of us? I mean, I already said it, declared it quite loudly. I have a sweet tooth. I eat sugar too much, and I need to cut back, right? But the milk part, that's a tough one. I mean, I only have milk in my tea, and then I have milk in my cereal, which, whatever. But if I were to tell my parents, okay, Mom, Dad, you got to stop drinking milk, they'll be like, what? Milk? You have to have milk. It has so many nutrients. It has this and that. It's like, this is what we grew up on, is milk and sugar and butter. That's what, that's what they have: milk, sugar, and butter. That is what they need to be farmers, for example, live, do farming and all that kind of stuff. So it's very ingrained in their psyche that they have to have the milk. And if they don't have the milk, it's like they're not getting all the nutrients they need. And even if they have gas all the time, like, and I tell my mom's like, Mom, maybe you're lactose intolerant. Maybe you should cut back on milk. No.
So there's, when it comes to milk, a lot of that information was, falsely exaggerated. We'll just say it that way, from the big dairy industry. Now, there is such a thing as raw organic dairy. And, for those of us that aren't sensitive in, again, small amounts, it's probably fine. And I know several of my friends that actually made their baby formula when they couldn't breastfeed anymore. They made their own instead of buying it in the store, and they used raw dairy. So there are some benefits to it. And here's the thing though, like most of us, because it's a cow product, our bodies don't know what to do with it, and our bodies actually see it as a foreign invader and creates an immune response. So there is, when you're lactose intolerant, the technical definition of that is that you just don't have that enzyme to break down the lactose. And so that causes the GI stuff, but you can take dietary enzymes and that'll fix that, no problem.
Right.
But a lot of us, like myself, actually have a casein allergy. So if you, casein is the protein that's in milk, and casein is also a protein that's in any protein powder that uses whey. So if you've ever noticed yourself getting phlegmy or itchy or sneezy or coughy or any of these things, that is more of an allergic reaction than it is just an enzymatic deficiency. So those are the two separate things. Now you can always have a test if you want, a firm confirmative answer. You can take it to test. There's lots of them out there. They're very inexpensive these days also. And I took one too, and I'm like, okay, well, it confirmed what I already knew. But now that I know it, it's easier for me to say no to things. And especially desserts, because so many desserts are made with cream or milk. So it's really hard to find a vegan dessert. And sometimes I call myself a meat eating vegan, which really irritates a lot of people, but but I can't do dairy. My body just doesn't tolerate it. So in that way, I am a vegan, but I still do eat meat. So in that way, I'm not, obviously. But so
that's funny because when I was just home, my mom, she makes all her desserts from scratch, and they're all made with milk. Milk and sugar, so much milk and sugar, it's like, but it's so good. It's like, okay, yes, I'll have some, knowing that, I'm only here for a few weeks and then I'm gone. I'm not going to have it again for a couple of years. So it's okay. But it's like, so good. So Dr. Lara, Linda was asking if you can explain what a functional medicine practitioner is.
Yes. So in functional medicine, we look to get to the root of your inflammation. So functional medicine practices off of the tenet that all disease is caused by some sort of inflammation, whether it's acute or chronic. And it's not just one thing. So we look at your whole system. So even if, let's say, I'll use myself as an example. I was diagnosed with IBS when I was 23. And so you would think, okay, well, we'll just look at your gut and that's fine. But really, we also want to look at, neurotransmitter balance, hormone balance, thyroid balance, all of these things, because all of that is made in the gut and it is transported throughout our body into other areas where it works. So like our neurotransmitters, serotonin specifically, is made in our gut, and then it's transported to the brain, which is then, like that's how we, feel happiness, or like we measure, like struggling to figure out a way to say it, like how we, we feel. And the same with dopamine. So a functional medicine practitioner will look at the whole system, and we test for things in a different way than a Western or a Western medicine physician will. So whereas let's say, like, if you're a female having some hormone imbalance, and again, this is something I've been through myself also, you ask your doctor to test your hormones. Well, they'll do a blood test for probably your estrogen, your testosterone, maybe progesterone if you're lucky, but they'll also not really take your cycle into account. So what is that really telling you? Not a whole hell of a lot. So a functional medicine practitioner will look at the whole gamut of your hormones, take them into the context with your cycle, and then we can also look at metabolites, and we can see how your body is actually breaking down the estrogen. So for estrogen, there's multiple pathways, and one of them is the pathway that can increase your risk for cancer, and the other one is what we consider a healthy pathway. And so depending on, what your metabolites are, we can see, is your body getting rid of all that excess estrogen? Once it's used what it needs, is it able to release what it doesn't need? And so bringing it back to detox, it's a really good reason for us to detox too, because those hormones are actually metabolized through the liver. And so when we need as healthy, as clean liver as possible. And it needs help all the time.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. And Tanya was asking, she says she used to eat sauerkraut quite often. I was speaking of sauerkraut, my husband just bought some, and because he's like, this is so good for you. It's so healthy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, enjoy. It's like, I'm not eating it. And she says, now if I eat it, my whole body's aching. Did I develop some sort of intolerance for the sauerkraut?
You could have developed an intolerance. My big question is this a sauerkraut that you're making or that you're buying? Because if you're buying it, then I would definitely look at the label and see what they're preserving it in, because that you could be having a reaction to the preservative. And so that's something else that a functional medicine can test for. We can test, for all your micronutrient levels, but we can also test to see, if you have a buildup of these preservatives in your body, or if you're having a reaction to some mycotoxins, which are like different molds that could be, in your house or in your environment. A lot of things that are very indolent, but over time, if our body just can't fight it anymore, then can start to cause symptomology.
And sometimes we can get a buildup of certain chemicals, certain toxins in our body that it might not seem like a big thing. It's like just a little bit at a time, but as it's building up, because we're not doing any detoxing, we're not doing any cleansings of our body and everything, it just stays there. And so that buildup is what can cause illness or disease or discomfort or aches and pains or whatever, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. So it will cause those low levels of chronic inflammation, which present themselves as in the way you just described.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Hopefully that helped. So if you're not making your own, it might be a preservative that the sauerkraut is in.
Oh, and just for the second part of Linda's question was, how does she find one in her local area? You can go to, there's a website for the, what is it called? It's like the big accrediting body that we all are a part of to be certified. And they have a list of all across the world of all the functional medicine practitioners that they certified. So it's imf.org. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, cool. So imf.org, and then you can look for functional medicine practitioners in Canada or in Alberta.
Yeah. Oh,
good. Awesome.
Sorry. Everyone.
So I know we're going to receive a live guided energy detox in just a minute. Functional medicine is very big in North America, very new here in London.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible. And here in Europe too, I don't know, like in Austria, I don't even know. I will have to check. I'll have to go on that website and check and see, is there a functional medicine practitioner close by to where I am, right?
Yeah.
But so Manisha, just check that website and see, maybe there's somebody that you haven't heard of or known before. So you never know. So just check that website and see.
Yeah. And so I'll say too that in most of my practice, I practice virtually because of the tests. All the tests that I order can be sent to your home. So either the order comes to you and you can take it to a phlebotomy lab for your draw or for your collection, depending on what it is. Or I can have a test kit sent directly to you, and you follow the instructions, package it up, and put it back in the mail. And so that is one aspect that's nice. And most functional medicine practitioners are not actually diagnosing, because you already know what the issue is. You're coming to me with the issue that hasn't been solved by Western medicine. So that's sort of a difference too. There are some functional medicine practitioners that are MDs that do diagnose. I am not one of those. I am a clinical pharmacist, so it is not my job to diagnose, just for clarity's sake. But so it depends, like, where you are in your healthcare journey. There's some people out there that are suffering with the mystery illness that hasn't been diagnosed yet. And so there's lots of tests that we can do to sort of not necessarily give you a diagnosis, but figure out where the inflammation is coming from. Is it tick-borne? Is it a mold illness? Is it candida? Is it SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth? Is it IBS? All the things. So there's lots of testing depending on your presentation and your symptomology, that, again, doesn't necessarily need a Western diagnosis either, if that helps clear that up too.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. And, and that's the thing too. It's like, sometimes those mystery illnesses or something, even though like the doctor might have said, oh, I think it's this, but it's like something inside of you says, well, maybe not. I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling like maybe there's something else here. Right. And so sometimes it is important to, see if you can find another opinion, because we don't always want to go the medical route, because they have their set way of doing things. And I think for a lot of us, it's like we're looking for something out of the box, a little bit different, that's more holistic, healing wise. So there's no harm in getting a second opinion either. So Manish says, I have now here in London that my son and I consult. Today's session is so important and music to my ears. Oh, good. We are following a lot of protocols that Dr. Lara has been talking about. It's called Health Path. Okay, good. Awesome. Keep doing it.
And I want to say one more thing about the difference between functional medicine and, a traditional Western medicine approach, is that, like you said, even if they, you get a diagnosis from them, most likely what they're going to do is give you a prescription or some sort of medication that will treat your symptom, but will not get to the root cause. Functional medicine practitioners seek out the root cause. And that's really important, because if you resolve the root cause, then you actually resolve the problem. And so many of these things that are considered chronic diseases in Western medicine can actually be completely reversed or resolved. And I think that that's not talked about enough. And in the new year, one of my new, I guess, crusade, for lack of a better word, is going to be talking a lot about reversing diabetes, type 2 diabetes specifically, because it is so preventable and reversible. And I don't think that gets enough airtime and attention. But that's a perfect example of Western medicine will tell you to do one thing, but that thing, even if it's just how you eat, will actually contribute to the progression of the diabetes, not the reversal. And then they'll give you more medicine. And then, and it's a horrible vicious cycle that leads to a lot of, unfortunately, death and so many other things. So yes, functional medicine is definitely a different approach to help you heal and reverse the inflammation that's happening in your body.
Awesome. Thank you. So I know, like I said, we're going to do a live guided energy detox. Don't know what that is, but we're going to do that in a minute. But before we do that, Dr. Lara, I just want to take a moment and talk about the packages. And the packages are basically, well, let me get onto the page. 1 second. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen so that you can talk about it. Okay. But it's available at, hold on, alara.at/show/Lara11. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hold on. So let me just. All right, so there's 3 packages. The Vibe Tribe Detox Membership Winter Detox. Package B is the Light Body Aligned Life Membership for the month of December. And then the Energy Healing Vibe Tribe Monthly membership. So let's talk a little bit about what all these 3 are. And so package A is $88. Package B is $44 for the month of December. And package C is $22 per month.
Yes. So the Vibe Tribe Detox membership is a seasonal detox throughout the year. So we start with winter in a couple weeks, and then your next detox will be in the spring in March, and then summer in June, and then autumn in September. And so it's essentially a quarterly membership. And the package for $88 is winter. And so with this, we do 3 live calls. The first live call is the beginning of what would be your prep week. So that week that I talked about, where you decide your why, and we talk about, what all is coming up, and you get to look at your own calendar and figure out how it's going to work for you, and start to wean some of those things down that might cause the detox symptoms later. So the caffeine, the sugar, the, getting your sleep in order, all that. So that's the first live call. And then the second live call is the very beginning of the detox. So like within the first, I think I want to do it like on the 3rd day. So everyone will start on the same day, but we'll do the first call like 2 or 3 days in to see how it's going, and to ask questions and talk about, what's going on with everyone. And all of these sessions too will have a guided energy healing meditation with it also, because I want us all to be in alignment and be in that practice of raising our vibration and changing our energy with intention. And then the 3rd live call is at the conclusion of the detox. And so that'll just be a wrap-up call to see how it went, what was easy, what was hard, what you guys would like to see different next time. And again, it'll have that energy healing guided meditation also. And so with that, you get all the meal plans, the shopping list, the recipes. There is a food diary that you can print out for yourself if you don't have a journal. And then there's also information about supplementation and different things. So like I have a guide about skin brushing, and a guide about tongue scraping, and one about oil pulling, and also like different teas. So I have a whole ebook about detox teas that can be included and some of them help keep your movements regular. So that's just an example there. Yeah.
Awesome. That's package A. And then package B is for the month of December, membership in the Light Body Aligned Life membership.
Yes. So this is actually a monthly clean eating membership, and it's also a group health coaching membership. So every month I will provide you with the full month of clean eating recipes, shopping lists, and so essentially all the things that I just outlined for the detox will also be included in the month. But then, there'll be a theme. And so for the month of December, I think the theme is, I think it was gratitude. I'll have to look. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now. But anyway, so you get a live call with me. So you get all of the shopping list, the recipes, all of that stuff to set yourself up so you know what to eat for the month. And so it's decided for you. You don't have to think about it. Nice. And yeah, and you don't have to use all 4 weeks if you don't want, but 4 weeks are provided. So sometimes with my clients, I say, you know what, if a new week is too much each week, then just repeat the week before. If you liked it and it went well, just repeat that. It's easy, take some of that stress off of yourself. Like you don't have to do it all. And so, but anyway, so So I provide the space for you to ask questions. You get health coaching. You can come and also receive a guided monthly Reiki healing session also. So that's all included. And that's a monthly membership.
Awesome.
For
So that's
$44.
package, yeah, that's package B. And then package B, C, the energy healing vibe tribe package for the
Yeah.
monthly membership.
Yeah, so I love to provide Reiki healing sessions for people. It's one of the things I enjoy most. And so this is a space for us all to come together, and you guys just get to receive Reiki and energy healing. And so one of the things that I thought would be really nice, since I know like we're all over the world and we can't all possibly find and meet at the same time, is that you can submit your intentions, your questions, or your things that you want healed or cleared ahead of time, and those will be addressed in the live call. So and you have the recordings to keep for life, and that's true for the other memberships too. There will be recordings that you get to keep and download.
Awesome. So again, package A, B, and C are available for Dr. Lara's packages: Vibe Tribe Detox membership, Winter Detox, Light Body Aligned membership for December, and the Energy Healing Vibe Tribe monthly membership. And just sign up for package A, for package B, or package C, whichever one resonates with you, and enjoy and receive. So this is a lot about receiving, and at the same time, if you're doing the detox, letting go, right? So again, these 3 packages are available at alara.at/show/Lara11, LARA11. So please do check them out. All right, so I know, Dr. Lara, that we are going to be doing a guided process, guided energy detox. I don't even know what that is. what like, I didn't even know what could that possibly be. So I'm looking forward to receiving that and experiencing it.
Okay, are we ready?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So everyone, come to a comfortable seat wherever you are. Close your eyes and just start to breathe easily and deeply, coming into your body. Inhale deeply, feel your belly expand. Inhale deep into your belly through your nose, and exhale. Just let it all go. Take another big, deep yogic breath in through your belly. Feel your belly expand in through your nose. And exhale. Let it all go. Continue to breathe deeply and easily in this pattern, feeling your belly expand. And exhaling, releasing all that no longer serves you. We call in your higher self and my higher self. We call on the entire spiritual and cosmic hierarchy of the highest divine light and love to come in and surround us now. We ask that a gigantic ascension healing column of light be opened up all around us. Feel your energy expand up, up, up to meet the great central sun of healing above you. And just feel this light opening and pouring through this gigantic column of light around you. Through the column, through your soul star chakra above your head, opening and awakening. Feel the energy come through your crown, opening and awakening that higher knowledge, that higher understanding. Feel the light coming down through your eyes so that you may see the truth in all things. Feel the light coming into your ears, opening up your ears, your ear chakras, so you can hear the truth in all things. Bring that light down into your throat chakra, clearing and awakening that area of your body and your energetic field where you speak your truth, where you express your choices. Just feel that energy swirling, awakening, clearing, and aligning. Bring the energy down into your high heart and your heart space, opening
Just continue to stay with the process. Continue to receive. I think we lost Dr. Lara, but hopefully she'll be able to come back. I'm just going to wait another minute and see. I'm not even sure if she knows she got kicked out. That we lost her. But anyways, I was already starting to feel the energies from the process. So just stay in it for a few more minutes, because maybe, she's still doing the process and doesn't realize that she's not in the Zoom room anymore. So just keep receiving. All right, everyone. So thank you for being here, for your questions, comments, and feedback. And until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.